Suzuki Brezza, the city-bred SUV.
Oh, what a turnaround we witnessed at the Ekana Stadium. We thought the upset was very much on the cards when the Delhi Capitals were asked to bowl first, with this Lucknow team preferring to bat at their home venue, having them at one stage 5 for 77, at another 7 for 94, and yet through Ayush Badoni's brilliance, with able support from Arshad Khan on his Lucknow debut, they've managed 167 for 7. So how does that keep things on our halftime chat on Maruti Suzuki Arena Presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout? Mitchell McClenaghan, Wasim, Jaffer, and my good friend Dustin Silgardo will make sense of this. Who came closest to the prediction? What did we have in numbers, gents?
I said 175.
17. Wasim is first to say 175. He's close. You were higher?
I forgot.
I definitely lost. I said 150 or something. So.
Okay,
Yeah,
but you were perhaps more in the game.
Yeah,
at the
I thought
halfway
I was.
point.
Yeah.
Let's start with Badoni though. How good was that? A responsible innings when experienced internationals before him have all folded easily. Wasim?
Yeah, it was impressive. He's done it time and again, especially batting lower down the order. For his size and the kind of player he is, he surprises, in those crucial moments. I remember he did it few times before, and they needed this kind of knock to, stay in the game. And I would say they are in the driver's seat, considering they don't lose after posting 160.
Yeah, that's the magic number, isn't it, for Lucknow?
Yeah, I think they've only lost twice at home defending, and both were scores of less than 160 they were defending. So they've never lost defending more than 160.
And from the evidence of the first 10 overs, this is not an easy surface. We should... Shall we
Just
say
had a little
that?
bit, yeah, just had a little bit more bounce than we were probably expecting. You've got to say that Delhi bowled well.
Yes.
They challenged the batsmen, bowled good line and lengths. That was pretty impressive. But yeah, Badoni really, obviously, a great innings. And before this game, we were having discussions around would he move up the order instead of Padikkal? Would he come out in the top 3 or 4? And we've got to remember that the role he did in the previous game against Gujarat Titans, he got 20 off 11, and he looked like he was comfortable in that role. And I'm really glad they kept him down the bottom there, because I think that's the flow and effect of someone getting confidence in a position in the batting order.
Yeah, it's a unique way to build an innings like this after what's happened before him, though. Because you've had a lot of batters trying to force the issue getting out. And he's shown us, I think, Wasim, even at Lucknow or even at the Chepauk, that's how you get to 50 of 30. There were lots of ones and twos.
Yeah.
There was a lot of smart cricket from a very young player.
Yeah, it is. It is very smart. And like I said, for a guy like him who doesn't hit big sixes, he comes in at number 6 and plays those crucial knocks. He plays that sweep shot to a fast bowler, that scoop, and then runs hard between the wickets. I mean, that number 3 doesn't look good for, Padikkal is struggling, and then sometimes you get Deepak Hooda coming in there. You sometimes feel Ayush Badoni can be promoted. He has been promoted, but he hasn't succeeded there. So I think this number 6 is probably his number.
He had the opportunity as well to take a little bit more time, and what we touched on in the pre-show was that Arshad Khan's come into this side, and he's a genuine all-rounder. So the fact that he had another batter after Krunal got out, and I think they were 77 for 94, and the fact that he had Arshad Khan come in, who he knows can bat, definitely would have made it easier to be a bit calmer in that situation.
I'm still trying to understand whether the batting impact sub is properly being used by teams. Let's take today's case also. I'm more of the opinion that you need to exhaust 90% of your batting resources, because you may get this partnership at any point. You could have had Badoni come in right after. So they sent Hooda in after Puran when they were 2-2, and clearly the panic button was pressed. But you still had Badoni, Krunal Pandya, and now, like you pointed out, Arshad Khan. Maybe when you're reaching the last pair is when you should think they could have easily done, I'm sure, with an M. Siddharth, who they can't have now. What do you make of Hooda coming in at that point?
I think if they had their time again, they wouldn't put him in. They wouldn't put Hooda in. And maybe that's just Justin Langer not knowing the resources that he had in Arshad Khan and how good an all-rounder he actually is. So in the future, I don't think they will pull the trigger on that one, and they might look to use it after, say, an Arshad Khan comes
But the other theory is, of course, that if you have to use it, you can't wait till the 16th, 17th over.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised as well, because I think, they had Krunal Pandya, even Ayush Badoni. Maybe after that you could have gone. And M. Siddharth has done really well for them, bowling with the new ball. Now they've got to depend on Arshad Khan and probably Naveen ul Haq bowling with the new ball, which might, they might need at the end of the innings. So I am a little surprised because they've lost some very crucial power play overs.
Yeah, I guess the thing is, if you leave the batting impact sub till the end, then sometimes you get tempted to not use the batting impact sub and use the bowler. Like I think LSG had a game previously this season where they kept not using the batting impact sub and then they ended up using Naveen in the end. But then they may have been 5 or 10 runs short, although I think they won that game.
Yeah, no, I mean, it just comes down to whether you think that the inclusion of Huda, which would have been at the 8th over, would just give the rest of the batting comfort as well. Everyone comes in at a later stage. Instead of Badoni walking 8th over, Badoni walks in whatever 10th over as it turns out today. But it just psychologically with the rest of the batting, it makes a difference rather than the other.
Yeah, what did Huda face? He faced 8 balls.
13
13
balls for
yeah, 14. What it did do was absorb the main wicket threat, which was Kuldeep Yadav. He was on point tonight. He was sensational. So he did take a majority of those balls, which exposed Badoni less. It exposed Ashok Khan less. Exposed Kunal Pandya less. So if that was the purpose, which I know they would have loved to get 20 or 30 off 15, but if that was the purpose, it served its purpose.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the deeper batting units of the IPL, even when they play, without the impact sub. But they do bat deep Lucknow. But interesting that they went with the way they did. But let's talk about Kuldeep Yadav, firstly, who set this game up. Now, Mitch, you interestingly said Delhi bowled well. Would you want to sort of tweak that to Delhi spinners bowled well?
Delhi spinners, yes.
8 overs, 3 for 46 and all 3 wickets to Kuldeep Yadav, who was outstanding on his return. We'll come to the seamers and how they've actually let this game perhaps slip to 160 plus. But how good was Kuldeep?
Kuldeep was sensational. And when you have a leg spinner in the team, what you want them to do is be able to take wickets in clumps, because they have that wicket-taking ability. And for him to get Nicholas Pooran out first ball...
That's a moment.
That was a
big moment with the form Pooran's in. Yeah.
Significant moment with the form Pooran's in. And he bowled the perfect delivery, didn't he? That nice little wrong in through the gate. It was exceptional. And then he just controlled that middle innings for Delhi and got them to a really commanding position, which was great signs for Delhi that he performed on his return so well.
Yeah, I mean, that Pooran wicket was so huge because, as Mitch was saying, if Pooran stays in, then you can't bowl Aksar, and then the entire order of the bowlers changes. So it was just such a wow moment, honestly.
It was. And the fact that he's got Stoinis and Pooran back to back. Rahul after that. That's 3 international batters. He may not end up with the purple cap or even in the top 3 or 4 purple caps. Kuldeep doesn't do that, Wasim. But yet, I guess this is the kind of spell why he's India's number 1 T20 spinner for the World Cup.
Yeah, without a doubt. He made a great impact in that little 3 overs. I was surprised he wasn't bowled that 4th over straight away because you needed that wicket there. I don't know why he holded him after that.
In fact, I think after 2 overs, he took him out and then brought him back later, if I'm not mistaken. I think he bowled 2 overs for 7, then they brought the seamers back and then brought Kuldeep.
Yeah. Unless, of course, we know he's coming back from injury.
Yeah, he did look gassed out because he went inside and
that was the celebration, I think. The Pooran celebration took a lot out of him. Not to mention, he was really remonstrating for a review with the captain, which didn't come. And then it was good on Pant because he saved the review, which he used for KL Rahul.
That had pitched outside leg and also hit him on the glove. So it was clearly
you
not
quite
out.
like a lot has happened with Pant in this 20 overs. He's had, I believe, a review taken which he says he didn't signal for.
It looked like he was
He definitely did.
No, it looked like he was signaling to a fielder asking, should I take it? But then I guess if you're the umpire, you see this
put it
and
together.
So basically it's like saying, okay, Wasim is the umpire, Mitch is my colleague and I'm Mitch's captain. When the decision comes, I'm looking at Mitch and going, and Wasim then does that.
But I guess the umpire has to, because there's only 15 seconds. If the umpire
but
sees
what is the rule? Like, does he have to make contact with the umpire's eye? And
no, I don't actually. No, I just assume it's the skipper touching the hand.
Yeah, because I know that sometimes like a Rohit Sharma, you can now just imagine he's just gone okay, and he just does that. So you can see that the eye contact is not a requirement. How did Delhi let this get away though? They'd be thinking in the dressing room now. We should have had them 110, 120 even, but it's now 160 plus, which Lucknow have such a good record. What happened?
I think the fast bowler were a little disappointing. The lengths they bowled, they allowed the batters to get away. That 7th over partnership, especially that catch as well. Prithvi Shaw, had Arshad Khan got out there, those 20 runs would have made the difference. So So I thought the execution of the fast bowlers was way beyond expectations.
Do you think they could have also been maybe a bit more clinical, Mitch? Because as I said, they took Kuldeep out of the attack. I think he had bowled the 9th over, then he came back only in the 12th or 13th. And then there was also this over, the 15th over, where Akshar was bowling a good spell, and Pant again took Akshar out of the attack and gave Mukesh an over where he got hit for about 10 or 12, and it felt like that's where LSG got the momentum. Do you think that he could have just kept the spinners on and looked to bowl LSG out rather than keeping spin for the back end?
Yeah, that's a really good point. He could definitely have done that. Kuldeep was your man on the night, right? Wasn't he? I think in these situations where you think you're ahead of the game as bowlers, sometimes you can stop thinking the game, and you actually at that point, a lot of bowlers, if you're not switched on, instead of thinking about also preventing runs, all you're thinking about is trying to bowl wicket-taking balls for yourself. And not saying that was the case tonight. It just looked like there wasn't like a defensive mindset until it was almost too late, and that partnership had developed to the point that it did.
I mean, Dustin's point is right. Kuldeep was used 8th, 10th, 14th and 16th.
Yeah.
In fairness, though, Mukesh Kumar came back in the middle and also got a wicket. So everything Pant was doing his work. He was mixing the pace up, and the Krunal Pandya wicket was an important wicket as well. So he's perhaps identified that the seam was a better option against Krunal with the short ball. But yeah, all said and done, with Andrik Nokia left out, this was the thing that the Indian seamers needed to do, and they perhaps leaked a few too many towards the end.
There were little details also from Delhi, like on Mitch's point about having a defensive mindset. There was that one quite funny moment where Khalil started just celebrating an LBW, even though it hadn't been given, and then they ended up giving away 2 runs because the fielder also switched off, and the whole team just kind of switched off. And
not everybody's like Jarul Kotse.
Yes, that's right.
Who
Charging into the boundary.
after the wickets fall in and given, his poor thing is going to save what is a dead ball basically and hit his head.
It's a good point, because it did seem like they just pulled off, and it was like it was a done deal that they were going to get the last couple of wickets, and they were going to keep them to 130. So maybe it was a lack of intensity on the Delhi part.
Right. Prithvi Shaw owes his team a few runs because of that chance he put down, but he's out there with bat now, so it is Prithvi and Warner. So we will wait to see whether Jake Fraser-McGurk makes Mitch McClenaghan
no doubt, mate.
Superstar today.
My impact zone picks, the last week in particular, have just jinxed everyone. Nicholas Poor on first ballers, so there's not good signs for Fraser-McGurk.
Now, we showed you some good matchups pre-game, right, with Akshar Patel and the team and the opposition. For this innings, keep an eye out for Ravi Bishnoi, who was flying in the last game when he took Kane Williamson. Could he take David Warner in similar fashion? He's already dismissed him 3 times in 4 innings with a strike rate of less than 69. That's an impressive record against undisputedly one of the IPL GOATs. So we shall see at what point Bishnoi is employed. And Arshad Khan has started for LSG. They also have to now think differently about their bowlers. Maybe Marcus Stoinis, the bowler, will have to play a role today. He's the 6th option.
Probably, he'll bowl in the power play too. If they have got a good power play, and I back LSG to get through this. But power play is very, very crucial. They don't want this opening pair to get away with a flying start.
Okay, 168. Does that make it Lucknow for you? Prediction, Mitch McClenaghan?
I reckon the wicket looks far better than they've played on recently.
All right, interesting.
Yeah, I still reckon they're on the par. It's just whether Delhi can get it together. They've got a stronger batting lineup today. So I'll go outside the box. I think Delhi will chase this down.
Okay, you want to give me something else? An outrageous prediction?
Outrageous. Well,
Fraser-McGurk to get out second balls.
no, I can't do that. No. I think Tristan Stubbs will continue his good form, and he'll get a match win, 40 not out.
Okay, safe enough. Wasim?
Lucknow to win this.
Okay.
And Naveen to get 2 wickets. I mean,
safe predictions coming. It's a Lucknow kind of game. Safe predictions are just made for Lucknow. Dustin.
Well, I said Delhi would win even before the game started, so I have to stick to that.
Yeah. No, you don't. You can change it.
No, I'll stick with that. An outrageous prediction: Rishabh Pant will hit a reverse scoop 6 today.
A reverse scoop 6.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's not that outrageous with Pant, to be honest. But
who's the bowler? I'm trying to close my eyes and imagine which bowler can you hit for reverse.
Yash Thakur.
Reverse scoops, Arshad Khan.
Okay, fine. You all are given lots of options now.
Okay.
All right. I will leave it over there and we see where this game stands at the end of it. Could it be one of the upsets of the week if Delhi Capitals, who not too many would have predicted would upstage the Lucknow Super Giants at their home ground. But if it does happen, makes for a very interesting points table. Although Lucknow are favourites with this kind of score, they are the masters of defending these 160 pluses. So we see where things stand at the end. On Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout. Do download the mobile app if you haven't already. It'll have you covered everything happening right through the IPL. We shall see you at the end of the game.
All new hot and techy Brezza, the Citybird SUV.